right. Hey, good morning, everybody. We're going to be today we're going to be doing a new shape maker assignment, but this one is going to be made from pulling from real life data and pictures that we have from Google Maps. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by going to tinkercad.com. I put a link to it in the assignment page right up at the top. And then you're going to go back there and open up another link to Google Maps. So you can see now we have TinkerCAD and Google Maps. Now, when you're on TinkerCAD, start off by creating a new 3D design. And as always, we're going to start off with the flat view. Now, I'm going to actually change the settings on this to be very large. Let's try 2000 by 2000. We're going to need some room for this one. It's going to be a much bigger project. And kind of zoom out. You get a view just how large that is. And notice, because it's on the flat view, the front edge and this rear edge of the work plane should be the same length. All right, so then we're going to go back to Google Maps, and we need to get to Lewis and Clark. So just type in Lewis and Clark. Here it is, Lewis and Clark Middle School, West Pierce Street. You got to be careful. There's a lot of Lewis and Clark's colleges, high schools, middle schools across the nation. So I'm going to make sure that I get the one right here, West Pierce Street. That's the road that goes right in front of the office. All right, so here we are. You can see here's our aerial view. We're going to forget about, first of all, we'll forget about the baseball field. We don't need to model that. What I'd like you guys to model is probably just this section right here, where all the building is. So we're going to do that. And you can, of course, include the soccer field and the sports court if you want to. Definitely going to need to have the courtyard in there as well. All right, so we want to make sure that we get as much detail as possible. So you can see what I did first of all. Let me go back up to the 2D view. Is when we're in this view up here, what I would do is I'd zoom in, and then you're going to hold down the control button on your keyboard. If you do that, you can change the angle of the view. And then you can slide it around just by grabbing somewhere and dragging it with your left mouse button. So this will get it so that you can really zoom in. And Google uses AI from different satellite images from different angles to do the best it can to build these things. Just remember, these are a little wavy, but we know in real life, those columns that are there as you walk from the hallway towards the gym, those are actually really straight. And we want to model it how we know they are in real life as well. So you can go and get views from each side. Pay attention. For example, we know that this part is the tallest part of the school, just about the main gym. We can see that the other gym is a little shorter, so pay attention to little details like that as you're going around and taking looks from different angles. Another tool that you might find useful as you're going and seeing where stuff is, as you make your shapes in TinkerCAD to build a model of our awesome school. Oh, and by the way, we know how to make trees. You could just put a sphere that's green with a trunk. You don't have to go into details more than that for trees and shrubs. For these type of trees here, you could use cones to represent those. Okay, so another thing that you can do, let's say you want to get a real life picture. These aren't good enough. You can also take this guy, see he's over in the corner, grab him, and anywhere where this blue line shows up, you can drop him. Now notice Google can't drive their car in the middle of the football field or the soccer field, so it doesn't show up there. But if we grab this guy, we can take him and drag him, and let's drop him right outside the cafeteria. And it might show you some different views. What you want to do is grab your mouse and spin it around. You can get different views and see what things really look like. You can also click on arrows along the road, and these are just limited to that blue path that we saw earlier. And you can kind of drive around with this to get different, better views of the place. If you want to get back out, all you do is just simply roll your mouse wheel out a ways, and it'll pop back into this 3D view. Again, holding down Control, we can rotate our view. And then once we're out here, we could drop this guy back over here to get a better view of, let's say, the main gym. If you're done with the basic stuff, add more details. And yes, you could even model stuff like the dumpster if you wanted to. All right, so we're going to do this. This is going to be a several day assignment because it's going to be a little bit of a longer ShapeMaker assignment. And remember, we got to use the resources that are available to us. That's maps.google.com. We got a link right here. The control button is your friend. Control and then grab the map, and you should be able to spin it to get a view wherever you want. If you ever lose your view here, right, just go back up here and search it again, and it'll zoom back in. Hey, look, it says Lewis and Clark Middle School, and we can go right just like this. Here's how you're going to turn this in when you're finished. I have to put out at least something here. So I'm going to put out a shape. Obviously, this is not something I'd want to turn in, but let's pretend that you're done with everything. You're going to zoom out until, let's put a few things here. Obviously, this is not Lewis and Clark, but let's just pretend. What you would do is you're going to use the middle mouse wheel to move it over and zoom in. You can also grab the whole thing and select the whole thing, and then click this button right here, fit selected view, or press F, and then zoom in to that as much as possible without cutting anything off. You can also compress this down. And then when you're done with that, there's a better way to actually take a shot of this than we've been doing. I discovered if you go up here to send to, and you click this download button, you can see it's going to download it, and it's going to be titled the same as this. Another thing we need to do, I almost forgot, was we want to put a title up here before we do that. So send to, and then click this one, picture of your design, download locally. And then that's the file you can turn in. We're going to be working on this. We shouldn't be done today. There's a lot of details. You can always add more details. I want you to wait until I tell you to turn it in and keep adding more and more details. The more, the better.